I'm Billy Ballard. Currently, I'm a detective with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office. I'm from this lovely community. I was born and raised in Montgomery County. Attended Concord High School, graduated in '87. St. Houston State University, graduated in 1992. Bachelor's degree in law enforcement and science. I guess I was starting off early and actually started at Precinct 2 Constable's Office in 1990. 25 years later, I'm still in law enforcement. I did my first 6 years in the constable's office. And I saw a good constable's office that was involved with our community. And it's part of the reason I've decided to do this, because I want to do that. I want to have a really involved constable's office. In '96, I went over to the sheriff's office, the first 6 years in patrol, and then since '02, I've been a detective. The last couple of years in our crime lab, working with electronic evidence, cases with other agencies. But the biggest thing, the biggest decision was to do this. I've never been in politics. I won't attest to being a politician, but I'll tell you the honest truth. And I believe my education, my training, my experience will make me a great person in that office. I've devoted a lot of extra time to that community. And it's an interesting community, from Willis all the way over to Montgomery. And for some reason, that community and that bridge, it's created a border, but they're both the same community. They have the same problems. And the biggest cure to any of those problems is a cooperation between law enforcement and the people in that community. The businesses, the residents, working together is the biggest weapon against crime. And people ask, why a constable's office? And I remember those first 6 years, I was asked a lot of times, what's a constable? Every time I went to eat dinner with my wife, somebody asked me, what's a constable? And you have to give them a certain dissertation because they weren't from Texas. And whatever state they were from didn't have them. But I can tell you, those 6 years, I served civil papers. I served subpoenas, eviction. And that was the biggest bulk of our job. It was a small office then. Precinct 1 was a lot larger office than what I was used to then. Precinct 1, 35 employees. And they split amongst 3 different divisions that work outside of what the constable's office usually does. And I've talked to those officers. I understand their problems and what they want to do. And I think I've got a great handle on what they want to do. But for the most part, I believe in cooperation. I think what I want to bring to Precinct 1, working with the community, I think it's going to make a great impact, both on law enforcement and that community.
In your opinion, what are the biggest issues facing the Precinct 1 Constable's office at this time?
Well, at this time, first off, they have Willis ISD. They provide the security for Willis ISD. 6 officers working for that school district of 7,000 students. In the next 10 years, they're predicting they're going to have 10,000 students in that school district. And that's already school bond issued up right now to expand that district, add schools, add more classrooms. And with those 6 officers, there's no way they can handle that. They have immediate concerns, and they have to get in front of it. And you have to get in front of it by being in touch with the school district and those parents. And I believe that's one issue. And then we have, as all the media knows, a horrible situation with the lake over the past few years. I want to see the lake safer. And I believe a cooperation with the businesses on Lake Conroe, the people that use Lake Conroe, those 3 entities, law enforcement and those 2 getting together. And then we need to also pay a visit to some of these nearby lakes that have the same issues we do. We have a lake right next to Houston. It's their playground, as is often advertised. We need to see other lakes that are in that similar situation and see what they're doing there. See what we can find that works there that we can bring here. Mental health, they work well. They offer mental health services from their officers assisting other agencies throughout the county. And that another cooperation. The better the cooperation, the better they work with other agencies, the hospitals, and our mental health care providers. But the budget for Precinct 1, you've got to stay in front of the growth that we're receiving right now. And I think that's going to be a big issue in our future. Woodlands is built out, and next is going to be the north side of the county. They're already buying flats and ready to put in subdivisions. We need to stay ahead of the growth.
Do you feel that the constable's office, precinct 1, is where it needs to be in this day and age with all the technology that is available to law enforcement?
No. I don't see that near where I would want to be. And those who know me know the geek I am, know that technology's always been my thing, and they're nowhere near where I would wish them to be. I have a son who's a senior at the high school, and knowing that only one school district officer has an MDT, that's behind the times. Technologically, they can be so much farther than they are now. They're catching up with the lake. With only 6 people on the lake, sometimes, that could be a big detriment trying to cover holiday shifts and such as that. There's a lot more that can be done up there manpower-wise, staying in front of the population and getting the manpower they need, but technologically, they need to get farther into the future.
Thank you, Billy. What is your opinion on community-oriented policing, and does the model work?
I am a firm believer in community policing. When I was at State, I used to say one of the first people you ever studied back in that first criminal justice class, Robert Peel, designed the first modern police department, the Metropolitan Police Department of London. He said, police are part of the community, and community is part of the police. Just happens the police have a full-time paid job doing the same duties that everybody else in that community has. And that's what I want to instill, is a partnership between the community. You've got to be able to talk back and forth. I remember when I first started with the Precinct 2 Constable's Office, I saw community leaders would come in and talk to Billy Colson and talk to him about what they had going on. And of course, I was the evening shift guy, and I would get a phone call, hey, make a tour through here and talk to the people. But yes, community policing works. I'm a firm believer in it.
Dr. Ballard, thank you for coming tonight. What is your stance if you are elected constable involving your department for criminal cases and backing up patrol deputies?
I've been on patrol, and I remember calls where District 1 has changed a lot since I was there. And our 3 people working from security all the way to Dobbin. But I remember there were days you were happy if a volunteer fireman showed up, let alone a constable. Anybody showed up to help you. And I'm a firm believer officer safety is number 1. I also believe that my experience will be invaluable. Showing constable deputies there, it's not that hard to work a case. It's not that hard to write a search warrant. We can move forward, and the officers can learn the same thing that our patrol officers have learned here. That we can clear our own cases. They're not that hard sometimes. When we do it right from the first, it's not that hard.
Why do you feel you're the best candidate for the job?
Well, first you'll never hear me talking about another candidate. I believe I'm the best because I've got the experience from a constable's office. I've seen what a constable's office really is. And in this day and age, our county needs that community-oriented constable's office. But I've also have the knowledge of bringing in the criminal end that I've experienced with the sheriff's office. I believe putting those 2 together will create a better department. My education, I've always been a firm believer in education. I pushed my daughter to finish college, and now I've got another one about to start right behind her. I believe in education makes us a better officer, and I believe training at Precinct 1 can be much better. I've often talked to those officers about, there's free training available and offered to where they can find it. And that's one of my key points is that I want a better trained officer. The better trained officer is not the one that's going to have a problem. He's going to be able to take care of the situation when he needs to, and he creates a better work product.
Good evening, sir. Our police department, precinct 1, work together closely. The two biggest things is the lake and mental health. Right now, precinct 1 obviously takes care of the PD touches land. That's where we all play. If you get this position, how would you like to improve that when it comes to the lake? For the lake, how would you like to improve that? The relationship between the two.
Well, communication is number one. And I know that between the radio systems, it's harder to talk to people. But I would prefer the face-to-face. I would like to see a better way of communicating between Conroe PD and Precinct 1 as far as what they have, since they have ample sound, and they can jog around to Del Lago and such as that. But their services, Precinct 1 can help Conroe PD out with immensely, just because of the equipment they have sitting on the lake, the officers, the experience they have. And then you're right there on land. The two working together, we know that how many crimes happen on those boat docks, and being able to come in from both sides would always be advantageous. Support from both sides is always going to work.
And when it comes to mental health, being Tri-County since here in the city,
Right.
we rely upon precinct 1 to transport, whether out of the city for certain places. How do you plan on expanding that when it comes to your mental health deputies?
Well, I've talked to some of the mental health deputies, and I know that still to this day they're on call, they're serving hours left and right, and I know their comp time is out of the world. Things have gotten better for them, but still, I believe that right now 7 officers working mental health, which is not many when you consider it's the entire county from Kingwood over to Magnolia and such as that. So it would be a good time to look at the number of calls they're getting versus the manpower they have to see if we can add to that manpower. I've often told them, I said, listen, if all the stars align and I come in as constable, don't be scared, don't be shocked if I don't show up in the middle of the night to help you with a call. Because one of my firm beliefs is that you can't supervise if you can't do it. And I want to be able to be involved with it enough to know I can go in before Commissioner's Court or whoever I need to go to and go, this is our problem, I know it, I've done it.
Thank you, sir. That's all for this time.
Do you have any closing remarks?
Now, I appreciate the opportunity to be here. The fact that you have Montgomery County law enforcement with Conroe law enforcement is the exact epitome of what I've been trying to say. The working together, the cooperation, the sharing of information is number one, and it's number one for our community. Because, and I'll go back to college again, the true measure of law enforcement is the lack of crime, the lack of disorder. Thank you.
Thank you.